Hello and welcome to a new video. My name is Lauren, and in today's video we're talking all about the first 3 months of my no-buy year, what I learned, what I've noticed about my shopping habits, and what I've been looking forward to in the next 3 months. So let's get started. So the first thing that I noticed when I started my no-buy was how quickly my urge to shop came back. After about a month and a half, I really started wanting to go shopping. I was browsing on websites so much more. And if I saw an ad for something that I liked, I would look on that website and then be like, oh, what else is, Everlane offering? And I would just be spending so much time browsing and then feeling guilty for browsing because I was spending time that I could be doing other things, just browsing on websites for things that I wasn't going to buy. So I definitely felt that urge pretty soon after I started my no-buy, which I kind of figured would happen because I feel like something similar happened when I did my no-buy in 2020. And so noticing that and realizing it was really good because I was able to realize that I was doing it and then step back and be like, okay, let's take a break from this, do something else, and focus on something besides shopping. I will say this is one thing that in my last no-buy really dissipated over time. And so I'm starting to see that already in March. I'm like, I don't need that. There were a couple things that I wanted to break my no-buy for, but I'm just like, I'll keep them in mind and maybe ask for them for my birthday. If they're not in stock, they're not in stock. It is what it is. It's not worth breaking my no-buy over. In that same vein, visiting the mall was an interesting experience during the first 3 months of my no-buy. I didn't feel triggered being in the mall, but visiting stores that I like, I definitely was tempted. I will pick stuff up, I'll feel it, I'll, start bargaining with myself, think about how I could rationalize a purchase. And the 2 times I've been tempted, it's been a top and bottom sweatsuit set. That's because I feel like I can definitely rationalize that. That feels like something like loungewear. It doesn't feel like something that I would wear during my daily life. If I bought a pair of trousers, there's no way I could rationalize that not breaking my no-buy. But in my head, buying a sweatsuit wouldn't be breaking my no-buy because it's for lounge, and I kind of have had my eye on sort of loungewear sets for a couple of months now. But even speaking about it now, I know that I definitely should not be buying that because now it feels like a big thing. It feels like it maybe would have sort of derailed my whole no-buy. In any case, I haven't found the perfect sweatsuit anyway, so I'm not aching to buy something, but I just thought it was interesting to dig a little deeper into my mindset when it comes to that sort of stuff and see what my triggers are and try to figure out a way to cope with them. Speaking of derailing my no-buy, I actually did buy a piece of clothing in the first 3 months. So in my original video, I said that it would be okay for me to buy accessories. And so I saw this, and it's similar to stuff I've sort of had my eye on, and it felt like the right thing for me. So I bought this baseball cap. It says extra spicy on it. It's very cute. Looks like that. It's from the brand Picnic. And I'm happy that I bought this for a couple of reasons. One, I technically am not breaking my no-buy because I said that I would allow myself to buy accessories. 2, it did create some feelings when I did buy this. A little bit of shame because, yes, ideally I wouldn't be buying accessories, but I feel like in the context that I bought this, it didn't feel counterintuitive to what I'm trying to accomplish with my no-buy, if that makes sense. I feel like with my no-buy, I have a tendency to just impulsively buy a lot of stuff and cycle things in and out a lot and just have this big massive wardrobe, and I don't think this contributed to that. It also brought up the feeling of if I bought this, who's to say I can't buy more? And that's a feeling that I got a lot with my low buy last year. Was once I started bringing things into my wardrobe, it felt like the floodgates had opened and I just let go and just bought whatever. But this time, since I'm on a no-buy, I was like, we can't do that. And so I had to take a step back and be like, no, you bought this because it was something you've had on your wish list for a while. This added something different to your wardrobe. It's not like you should go out and buy a ton of new items just because you bought this. That's not what that means. And that's something I've definitely struggled with in the past. So I'm happy that I bought this because it really helped me to deal with those feelings of what will happen if I do bring something new in my wardrobe. The floodgates don't have to open, and I can just being really thoughtful and intentional about what I bring into my wardrobe. The next thing that came up during the first 3 months of my no buy was the idea of rewards. And I know for me, I thrive on a reward. If there's gonna be a reward at the end, I am so much more likely to do something because I want the little treat. I love a little treat. I thought to myself, it would be a good idea for me to give myself a little reward at the halfway point and then a reward at the end. But the first thing that I thought of as a reward for finishing my no buy was to buy something. And I just thought that was hilarious because, you know, the whole point of this whole thing is to, you know, buy less and to be intentional. And maybe I do buy something, but maybe it's something that I've had my eye on. It's very intentional. I don't know. It still feels a bit counterintuitive to buy something as a reward for finishing your no buy. So I probably won't go that route. But it felt important to dig a little deeper on if I was to use a reward, what's the reward? Because a lot of things that I would reward myself with are things that I would purchase. So with that in mind, I think I'm leaning towards an activity as my reward, possibly getting a facial or going to a new restaurant or something like that. But I would love to get any recommendations that you guys have. What sort of rewards you would give yourself if you were on a no buy? Because like I said, in the past, I would just buy myself something. I'm looking for ideas. I need some inspiration here. There's also the other side of the coin where I just like don't give myself a reward because I have enough willpower to complete the no buy. I think part of me just wants the reward to have an excuse to treat myself, but then maybe I need to look at my situation and realize I don't need to accomplish something to treat myself. Maybe I can just treat myself without it being a reward for something. Just some things floating around in my brain in regards to rewards and habits and things like that. Would love to know your thoughts. Let's chat in the comments. And the last thing that I want to talk about from the first 3 months of my no buy is my declutter. If you didn't see it, I will link all 4 videos down below. It was a massive undertaking where I went through all of my clothes and put them into different categories. I won't go too much into detail, but I used a new strategy and I really enjoyed the new process. I loved this new strategy for a couple of reasons. One is because I am on a no buy. I obviously cannot buy anything new. And so I didn't want to do a big giant declutter where I'm just getting rid of as much as I can, as fast as I can to be able to make the video title, I got rid of 50% of my wardrobe. I really wanted to be thoughtful about what I was really saying no to and also what I was putting aside to intentionally style and get the most out of. And this has been the most eye-opening part for me is my how pile. There are some days where I pull an item off that rack and I feel like I've unlocked an unlimited number of possibilities in my closet because this piece that I had been neglecting is really great at adding so many more interesting outfits to my wardrobe. It's been really interesting. I've already decluttered 4 or 5 items that I have worn and felt not great in. And then there are days where I put something on and I feel like it's completely 100% my style and I've unlocked a new piece. And it just feels really good. It feels great to play. It's just been totally different from the declutters I've had in the past. I get the same feeling of lightness as I have in the past with declutters, but this time I also get to discover more about my wardrobe every time I choose an outfit. Now with 3 months down, I'm looking forward to the next 3 months, which at this point will be April, May, and June. And so with that, I'm excited to keep experimenting with my how pile, especially in the warmer months. If you don't know, I really hate dressing for summer. I'm a long sleeve kind of gal. I love sweaters and layering and pants and boots. And it is just too hot where I live to wear that stuff in the late spring and summertime. And so I'm very interested to see what I learn about my wardrobe in that time period, particularly because I have a very clear picture of what my style is in the fall and winter. And the spring and summer is just a little bit more fuzzy. I can't rely on my long trousers and my Blundstone boots to make me feel comfortable. It's too warm to wear a lot of my security blanket pieces. And so I think there will be a lot of pieces that get a lot of wear, and then I think a lot of pieces will leave my closet during that time. Another thing that I'm looking forward to in the next 3 months will be my birthday. My birthday is in June, and the last 2 years I have spent shopping around and on my birthday because that is something that I really enjoy. And so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do this year for my birthday. Maybe my husband will take me out and treat me, to a little shopping, but I don't know if that's what I want in terms of my no-buy, because granted, last year particularly, I bought a lot of things that are absolute favorites in my wardrobe. I think the most important thing that I want to take from this no-buy year is to shop more intentionally and be more thoughtful and buy less impulse purchases. Maybe going shopping with him would be a good test for that. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? I guess, do we think I'll be breaking my no-buy if he's buying them for me as a gift? And do you think I should try and give myself a little test and go on a little shopping trip for my birthday to see if I can be really intentional about what I'm bringing into my wardrobe? And that is my quarterly update for my no-buy year. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss anything from me, make sure to subscribe. I put out new videos on Sunday, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!